Whoopi Goldberg got frustrated on a recent episode of The View. It all came to a head when she lashed out at producer Brian Tata. Brian is on good terms with most of the women as the man who hosts The View, Behind the Table podcast. However, this isn't the first time that Whoopi has lashed out at the producer on the air. Here is what happened this time and why Whoopi was so frustrated on the episode. Whoopi Goldberg unhappy The View played music as she spoke. Whoopi Goldberg was on The View on Tuesday and was talking about political issues. Goldberg was pointing out how several politicians who openly supported President Donald Trump have flip-flopped after some of the president's more controversial policies. However, the show began to cut her off in the middle of her speech. Brian Tata, the host of The View, Behind the Table podcast, is also a producer on the daytime talk show. He is responsible for many things on the show, and he is the one who cues up the music to begin playing when it is time to move on. However, playing the music while Whoopi was talking angered the host. The politicians are going to take a while, but I think it's beginning because you're starting to hear them say, "We're voting on this bill that, had we done this, a couple of," Whoopi was saying when the music started. She then turned in her chair and faced Brian. "You like to play that music, don't you?" Joy Behar told Whoopi they had two guests who needed time. Whoopi explained that she knew that, but she wanted to put a period on it, but then said it was too late to do that now. Brian said the music was low and she could have talked over it, but by this time it was out of control. It seemed to be harsh, but the camera switched to show Brian. This made it seem like it wasn't that big of a deal because the show wouldn't humiliate the producer like this by showing him on the screen. However, it isn't the first time Whoopi has lashed out at producers recently. Whoopi Goldberg also lashed out on The View last month. In February, Whoopi Goldberg also began talking back to off-screen workers on The View. During a Hot Topic segment in February, the women were going too long and the show had to move on. Sadly, it didn't help, and the interview with the Queer Eye cast had to be axed from the show. While the interview ended up playing a few days later, it was pre-recorded. The producers tried to get things right at the time. When the producers tried to push for the statement to end, Whoopi lashed out and put them in their place. What are your thoughts on Whoopi Goldberg and her comments toward the producers on The View? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below.